good morning everybody. My name is Yustina S Namul. You can call me Astri. I am a student from English Study Program and I am from class 1A. Today I will highlight the most important vocabulary that you need to understand and use in conversation when we are talking about coronavirus. Okay, let's start with the words outbreak, epidemic, and pandemic. Those are definitely the top words that are being used when we are talking about coronavirus or COVID-19. Okay, the first one is outbreak. Outbreak is an increase in the number of cases of disease in a particular place. Okay, to understand that, I give one example. We know that the virus started with an outbreak in Washington state. And the second one is epidemic. Epidemic is a large outbreak. That means the number of people who has the virus continue to go up quickly and it was over a large geographic area. And the second one is a pandemic. A pandemic is a global epidemic. It means the number of cases continue to rise rapidly around the globe. It's no longer in one region or one country. It's across multi-religion, countries, and continents. Now, one more word that we heard or we read, it is epicenter. An epicenter is a focal point or center point. If we go back to the first example sentence using the word outbreak, initially the outbreak in the United States began in Washington state. The epicenter of an outbreak will be the particular neighborhood. As we have watched the coronavirus move from an outbreak to an epidemic and then pandemic. And then one of things that you probably heard about restriction. Restrictions are limit or way to control someone or control something. For example, right now, there are many travel restrictions around the world. It means there are limits or some control of where you can and cannot travel to limits or some control. They may be canceling travel plans for asking employees to stay or work from their home. Okay, and the second response is social distancing. This is a focus to reduce close contact between people. And we know that the purpose of social distancing is to slow down the movement or spread of the coronavirus. This is why we have schools closing. This is why large public events are being cancelled and why many businesses have started, which means working from home, using the internet, email, and also using the telephone. Social distancing also means choosing to stay at home more often and avoiding public space or large. Okay, another response that you have probably heard a lot about self-quarantine. We know that the means of self-quarantine is to separate and restrict the movement of people who have the coronavirus or have been exposed to it and those who have not. Many individuals have been asked or have volunteered to self-quarantine. This means is they stay at home and they restrict the movement. One final word related to this, it is isolation. Isolation is the most restrictive separation. Isolation is when an individual with a disease has been completely separate from other individuals. Now let's focus to words that I just mentioned is contagious. Okay, contagious refers to how a disease moves from one person to another person by direct or indirect contact. Earlier, I mentioned that purpose of restriction, social distancing, and self-quarantine are to movement of the virus from one person to other person, and there are three important reasons why we are doing this. Of course, of course, to protect us and all of your loved ones, to protect those who are most vulnerable, and to slow down the spread of the coronavirus. and to slow down the spread of the coronavirus is to reduce the possibility of overstressing, overwhelming our healthcare system and hospital. Now, if you or someone you know that need medical attention, especially related to coronavirus, I want to highlight some of the most important you will need to know in order to talk to your doctor, nurse, and other medical staff about how you're feeling, what symptoms you're having. And symptoms is a physical sign of an illness. Some of the most common symptoms that are being talked is fever. Fever is when your body temperature is too high, and in addition to a fever, you might have body temperature is too high. And then you may also have shortness of breath, and if you have it, that means you have pain here, particularly when you to breathe and you're not able to take deep breath. Okay, and now we are talking about social distancing. Social distancing using to stay home, or even if you need to self quarantine. First one is the precale verb to stock up. To stock up means to have an extra supply, particularly of basic like food, medicine, and other essential household items, and this is perfectly appropriate to do it if you are during to self quarantine for 14 days. That means that you need to have enough food for you and anyone else who living with you. So right now, many people are going to grocery store and other markets to stock up on things like canned goods and frozen goods and other. Okay, in this video, I want to make conclusion about the coronavirus that I say before. Okay, if we want to talking about coronavirus, we must understand about the words that I say before like outbreak, epidemic, pandemic, social distancing, self-quarantine, and isolation. Okay, I think that's all about my video today. Thank you very much and God bless.